相手に褒められて、照れちゃうよと言ったことありませんか？ Hey, なっちゃん、you're looking cute today.
Oh, thank you. 照れちゃうわ。
外国人の話し相手に褒められたら同じように反応したい時もあるかもしれないんですけど、英語だと何と言ったらいいんでしょうか？皆さんこんにちは、朝です。今回のレッスンでは、照れちゃうよの英語の。
朝なんでそんな変な言い方してるの？
だってそっちの方が楽しいでしょ？皆さんこんにちは、朝です。今回のレッスンでは、照れちゃうよの自然な言い方を5つと、その自然な英語の使い方を学びましょう。よろしくお願いします。Before we get started, I want to talk about the word 照れる a little bit. この単語を見るといつも思うのですが、日本語の漢字ってすごいと思いませんか？同じ漢字なのにいろんな意味、いろんな読み方もあるし、日本語を勉強して最初の頃の僕にとっては、めっちゃめんどくさかったっていうふうに思ってたんですけど、今はとても面白いです。やっぱり日本の独特なことだと思います。英語にない感覚です。照れる can mean to shine or bright, but it also means to be embarrassed. Like, how does that work? All right, now let's look at these 5 phrases and how to use them naturally in a conversation. Now, I have these in order of which ones I recommend least to which ones I recommend most. So the one I share at the end is the one I recommend most. But really, the last part is most important. It's not just about learning English, it's about using it. So please watch to the end and learn how to use this in a real conversation. All right, the first phrase is, you're embarrassing me. Now, you're embarrassing me is kind of a direct translation of the feeling. You know, 照れる is kind of like いい意味で恥ずかしい, right? And in that case, we use the word embarrassing because to be embarrassed is 恥ずかしい. But you should be a little careful with how you use you're embarrassing me. If you say it directly in a regular way, some people may take it to mean a negative thing. Oh, hey, Natchan, you're looking cute today.
You're embarrassing me.
Oh.
恥ずかしいからやめてください。
So how should you say you're embarrassing me? Well, you shouldn't say it like you're embarrassing me. You should say it like, oh, you're embarrassing me. The key is to smile and to change your pitch. So not, you're embarrassing me. That's also pretty weird too. But to say, oh, you're embarrassing me. Hey, Natchan, you're looking cute today.
Oh, you're embarrassing me.
あなたは私に恥をかかせるってこと？
Yeah.
直訳
は恥をかかせる。
言い方で。
Exactly. So if you just say, you're embarrassing me, it's like, もう恥ずかしいからやめろ. Is like, the next phrase is, I'm turning red. Now, why does this mean 照れる? Well, when you get embarrassed, your cheeks, your face turns red. And that's why you say, I'm turning red. So it doesn't mean your whole body becomes red. It's just a short way of saying your face turned red. You feel embarrassed. 照れる.
Arthur, you're looking good today.
Oh, I'm turning red. The third phrase that I want to share with you guys today is, aw, shucks.
So you're looking good today.
Aw, shucks.
What does it mean?
What does that mean? 朝なんて言ってんの？それ英語じゃないでしょ？ The thing about aw shucks is because it's so short and it doesn't even feel like a real English word, the emotions are really strong. So when you want to really emphasize your feelings in a joking way, in a funny way, it's best to use aw shucks. This word aw, well, what is that? It's not actually a word. It's a sound that shows your emotions. Aww, aww. You use it when you see something cute or when you see something funny. So a lot of times when you see a baby or my baby, you can say, "Aw, your baby's so cute." Or if you feel something is zurui, something is unfair, but you're not being so negative, you're being more playful with it, you can say "aw" too. Like, "Aw, that's unfair." It's just an emotional word. Now, what does shucks actually mean? Well, to be honest, I never really thought about that before, and I actually had to do some research for this video. It turns out that actually shuck can mean like a covering or a shell of something. And so actually, the only other time when I've heard of the word shuck is when you shuck oysters. It's when you open them with a shucking knife, an oyster knife. So what you're doing with it when you shuck oysters is you open the clam, you take off the shell, you take off the shuck. And then somewhere along the line, it stopped meaning a shell or a covering, and it started to be used as like a trick, as a joke. So if someone shucked you, well, they tricked you. Now, people don't really say that anymore, but traditionally, that's how it was. So originally, aw shucks was something similar to, aw, don't joke with me. Something like that. Or actually, probably it's closer to, aw, you're kidding me. Now, that may be the traditional meaning, but pretty much no one today thinks about it that way. The only time people really use that is in the phrase, aw shucks. Now, it is a little bit of an older phrase. I think the usage peaked in like the 1950s. So nowadays, people tend to use it only when they are joking, when they're really not serious. So when you really want to emphasize that you're joking, that it's not really that serious of a feeling, I recommend aw shucks. Aw shucks. The fourth phrase that I want to share with you is I'm blushing. Now, what does I'm blushing mean? Well, I'm blushing means your face turns red from being embarrassed. When your face turns red because you're embarrassed, we call that blush. If you blush, it's because your face is turning red because you're embarrassed. Actually, an interesting thing is, in Japanese, for the makeup you put on your cheeks, people call chiku, right? Well, in English, originally it's called rouge, but people also call it blush because it makes your cheek redder. It makes it look like you're blushing a little bit.
ブラシ
Blush.
ブラシとブラシは違う
Yeah, blush, brush. This is blush. This is brush.
え
Blush, brush. Blush,
The
brush.
same one?
No, it's different. Now, why do I recommend this more than I'm turning red? Well, I'm turning red can be used in serious situations, but I'm blushing is really only used in joking situations or lighter situations, so it's easier to use without getting misunderstood. But you still should say it in a fun way, like, oh, I'm blushing. I'm blushing. Hey, Natchan, you're looking good today.
Oh, I'm brushing.
So what's the fifth phrase? The phrase that I recommend the most? It's I'm flattered. So what does this mean? Well, to flatter someone means oseji o iu koto. So when you're saying I'm flattered, it means oseji o yuarete hazukashii. That's the kind of the image. Hey, Natchan, you're looking good today.
I'm flattered.
It shows that you're not taking it too seriously, but it also shows a little bit of your feelings. But the thing that's different about this phrase from the other phrases is it can be used in almost any situation. The other phrases are in joking or not joking situations, but I'm flattered can really be used anytime, even in speeches, in interviews, in formal places. A lot of times when someone is complimented for something in an interview, they don't want to say, oh, thank you, because it's kind of like, 偉そうな感じがする時もあるね. Instead, they'll say, oh, I'm flattered, like that. And I'm flattered, no matter how you say it. If you say, I'm flattered, or I'm flattered, it means the same thing. The possibility of being misunderstood is zero. So if you have a chance, use I'm flattered. Now, wait. Okay, I told you the most important thing is the end. Don't switch to another video because you just learned the last phrase. The important thing about English is to learn how to use it in the real world. So let's look at that now. Just using these phrases by themselves can feel a little bit unnatural. English isn't just about learning phrases, but about using them to communicate your ideas and your feelings. And just using a phrase doesn't always do that. The important thing is not just the phrase itself, but what you say before or after it. In everyday conversation, when people use a phrase, lots of times they'll say an aizuchi or something before it. And it's the same with these phrases too. If you want to communicate your feelings better, more strongly, then we should say something before too. It's kind of like when we shared aw shucks. The word is shucks, but the word aw before it helped to share the emotions more. But what about for the other phrases? A lot of native speakers will say something like, oh, stop it, or oh, come on. Both of these phrases have the meaning of yamete in a playful way, or maybe in a non-playful way too. If you're angry and you say, oh, stop it, or come on, the other person will feel that it's serious, but if you say, oh, stop it, come on, It shows you're being playful, you're being joking. Just like with the Japanese word やめて, depending on how you say it, the image, the message is completely different.
朝やめて。
Oh, sorry. So instead of just saying, you're embarrassing me, I recommend you say, oh, stop it, you're embarrassing me, or oh, come on, you're embarrassing me. Instead of just, I'm blushing, you can say, oh, stop it, I'm blushing. Oh, come on, I'm blushing.
Arthur, you're looking good today.
Aw, shucks. Oh, stop it, I'm flattered. Oh, come on, you're embarrassing me. Aw, I'm blushing. Oh, come on, I'm turning red.
朝大丈夫？
でも多くの方はですね、頭の中で何と言ったらいいかがわかるのに、いきなり外国人と対面するってなると、頭が真っ白になって言葉が出てこないっていう問題になります。英語を趣味で勉強している場合はそういう問題がないかもしれないんですけど、心から外国人とつながりたい、話したいと思っている方には非常に多い問題です。具体的にどうしたら英語を学ぶだけではなく実際に使えるようになるんでしょうか。その鍵がたくさんのフレーズ、文法を学ぶんじゃなくて、今までと違うことをやることです。そのあることを今回の動画で紹介するとかなり長くなるので、無料レッスンで紹介しております。もしあなたは今の英会話学習で満足している場合は、ぜひこちらの動画をご覧ください。You can watch a video and keep on studying. でももしあなたは心から外国人とつながりたい、話せるようになりたいと思っている場合は、ぜひこの無料レッスンをゲットください。You can get it by clicking up here or by clicking the link in the description box below. As always, enjoy your English adventures. 一緒に世界とつながりましょう. See you next time.
違った。
You're flattered?
I'm flattered.
I'm flattered. Okay. Ooh. Okay, we'll try again.
Okay.
なんでそんな変な顔してんの Let's...
変なってつけちゃった。
Oh, come on. I forgot them. Aw, shucks, I'm blushing.